Call the building and planning meeting to order at 1 o'clock. Is there approval of today's agenda? Motion by Director Clark. Is there a second?
Second.
By Elliott. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. This is public comment. See anybody from the public today? So we're going to the last month's meeting minutes from April 28th. Any corrections or changes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Director Elliott, is there a second?
I'll second.
By Director Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, turn it over to you, Bob, for the project update.
Okay, so not a whole lot to review. So on the seismic, obviously we're in waiting mode. I thought it was interesting that I got this flyer that says FEMA resumes in-person training for emergency management professionals after 76-day lapse in appropriations. FEMA's Center for Domestic Preparedness, National Disaster and Emergency Management University, and the National Fire Academy are resuming training, instruction, and engagement for emergency management professionals across the country. So if you want to apply to go to work, to contact them at blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to hire people in order to take care of stuff because I think they've lost quite a few people. Yeah, who didn't want to work for free for a number of months. So who knows how soon they're going to be looking at our grant. That's and everything I've been talking with Cal OES, they're going, we can't even talk to anybody at FEMA because there's nobody there. Right. We send them emails and they sometimes will get back after 3 or 4 days. So, it's just, who knows? And I tried to, I think I told you last month, I tried to pin them down. I think we'll have, because normally they give out the grants by August. So you think they will, and they go, we don't know. Yeah, it's anybody's guess. But, so we're, for that project, we're just kind of in a wait and see mode. We have until next April, at which point we could very well lose the plans forever.
Yeah.
To see, I mean, I'm with John. Sometimes I kind of hope we don't get it and we just be like the rest of the hospitals and not become compliant. But then again, if we could get the grant and we got the HCI grant, we could do this whole, $36 million project for about $4 million.
For the out of our pot of pocket,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Which would, we have to have money in the bank for the whole project, but what we do is we pay the contractor, then we submit to FEMA, and then they pay us back the 75% or 66%, depending on which grant we would get. And so it's just a back and forth thing that happens, for the whole length of the project. And if we did go ahead with the project, we would hire a firm similar to Haggerty. I spoke with them and said, could they work with us related to managing the grant process? And they said, well, depending on what grant we got, if it's the Cal OES / grant, it'd be kind of a conflict because they're working for Cal OES.
Right.
To work for us would be, but I'm sure that they could recommend a company, because you want to have somebody who knows that reimbursement process and the forms and everything inside and out to make that all happen smoothly. But we've budgeted monies to hire a company like that. That's in the budget. So, because government forms and stuff are just amazingly wonderful to deal with. Anyway, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. In fact, I don't know if, we can discuss it at the end or something, whether, do we want to continue having these monthly meetings if we don't really have any, not moving forward on much. I don't have a problem with it, but the meetings are going to get fairly short because we don't have a lot of projects going on right now. Anyway, so, all right. And so on the new administration building, all the work's basically complete. A couple little minor punch list items and the signage, I think we're a couple of weeks away. on the new permanent signage going up on the building and on the street.
You're gonna take down the old sign, or covered up, the
Yeah, down at the old building.
old building.
Yeah, not in this kind of wind, but
No,
if the wind will stop it.
Land like this. Yeah.
Sailing to South Lake.
Grab a hold of the sign and sail on down over to the South Lake.
How are you doing with the generator project for down there?
Okay, so where I'm at is, I'm hoping this week we're going to go down to the old retail pharmacy and we're going to disconnect that generator and reattach the normal power back to the building. And then we're going to bring the transfer switch up to this building. We're going to temporary it in doing just the pharmacy. There's 2 breakers that we have to feed. And, but that will return this generator to the company we rent it from, because these 2 generators out here will be going into service at the clinic there. I'm hoping to accomplish that this week. See how it goes. I've got to order an electrical box where I can make all the connections temporary, safely, so that no one can get shocked or anything. And
What's wrong with that?
if you lick your finger before you.
How is she gonna know if it's live?
That's true. That's how you test it. Yeah, so I have a goal of trying to accomplish that this week. We're just gonna see how many emergent things we get hit with.
And we have the other generator for the clinic that we have
Yeah,
to return
and-
to then.
Yes, and that one's a pretty easy swap out. I'm sure we can get that done this week. I just need to bring them up. I need to make sure the batteries are charged. I got to send the forms to air pollution stating we're putting them in service. They're sitting on my desk ready to go. And just verify the bin. Heidi spent a whole bunch of fun time working with DMV to try to get them transferred to us. So
They're done.
it's done.
They're done.
We have new plates in our name and stuff. So that's done.
Don't you think those things that I'm trying to figure out, put a value on them for depreciation and things like that?
So there was one of the forms for the DMV had like 140,000
Or,
on it. And it looked like one of the documents from the original vendor to transfer it to Tehachapi. We had to have it,
Yeah.
pay to have it transferred from them to Tehachapi and Tehachapi to us.
I would say offhand, their brand new price was probably 140,000. So, yeah, I did research that a little bit back too, and was wondering what they were worth, but yeah, so I don't know.
it'll be a donation, it'll be a donation to us too. I mean.
100 grand or something
Right.
per unit.
DMV gave me trouble about purchasing them for $1. And he's like, a bill of sale for $1. That's what we bought them for. And he's like, you guys always say that it's never $1. So no, we actually got them for $1.
We have a picture of it. Handing the dollar to them.
But they thought we were doing something hinky, and we're like, no, they got them on a grant. They couldn't profit off of them.
Yeah.
They donated them to us.
Yeah.
But they weren't happy.
Well, because you know that a lot of people try and pull that with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I only paid
Who would ever
$1
do
for that car. Anyway, so yeah, to answer your question, I'm hoping to get that accomplished this week. If not, it might roll a little bit into next week if I need to order a electrical box or something.
Catch you, we're at the end of the tunnel on it. So
We're quite close to the end of the tunnel, and I think the other item is actually on the,
It's further down the agenda.
it's further down on the agenda, so we'll talk about that a little bit. All right, so our emergency generator project, I haven't found out from accounting if they've sent the check to HCI. Did you?
Which
one for like
which one?
56,000?
I don't think we said that yet. No, I don't remember seeing that.
So, and I sent you an email asking you, I think it was Friday, I may not have had a chance to look at it. So I've got the general contractors asking to be paid. The 160, the rechange, 167,834. And I told him that normally we issue that when HCI has issued us a letter
Sure.
saying that the hospital or the project is closing compliance. And I says, I am waiting on accounting to send the check to HCI because HCI won't issue that letter until they get paid
Yeah.
the fees owed to
I
them.
think Amy said she was coming back check this week.
I think
Yeah,
I said-
'cause-
remember seeing it, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
talk.
so
Make sure it goes
anyway.
out Friday.
But I didn't know if you wanted me to tell the contractor they could go ahead and send the invoice
Send the invoice, sure.
I mean, we're not gonna pay, we're not gonna pay it right away anyway.
Yeah, send it anytime you
Yeah,
want.
so I'll tell him he can go ahead and send the invoice.
167.
Yeah, for the 167.
And that'll be it. We're done. We'll
That'll
bring
be
it in.
closed.
That project is 100% done and closed when we get that letter from HCI that says closed in compliance, but we'll get that as soon as they get their money.
And we'll move back to fixed assets and then we'll see an uptick in depreciation though.
Yeah, because that was somewhere around 3.8 million total, I think. Yeah. Okay,
How much 4 million total? Was it 4 million?
well, I say 4 million, but I think it's about 3.8 was the total, something in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I mean, we can,
No, we know the exact amount. Amy's got that. but
well,
yeah.
I did a final cost accounting with HCI, but that doesn't include everything because it doesn't include inspections and all of the other costs. Oshpod requires us to pay fees on the cost of the equipment and the cost of construction, but not inspections and a bunch of other things that we're allowed to exclude from their
I
prices.
just need to see if we capitalize that or just expense it when we did it. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
We probably capitalize it, I'm sure.
That'd be a question for Amy. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the NPC 5 seismic upgrade of dietary surgery in Central. So HCI is wanting us to submit a full-blown soils report study submission. So that's in process.
Does that make sense to you? I mean, it's an existing building.
It's
It's been here for what, 60 years?
So two issues. The original soil study that we did only went to the far side of the street. Okay. And the water tank sits over closer to the house.
Okay.
So I asked, I asked our soils report company to expand that. And also it has to come to a new more current code. So, because codes have changed and the criteria for calculating the density of the soils and all that kind of stuff has changed.
Okay.
So they gave us the cost to do that. And so we went ahead and approved that and they have created the soils report. But now HCI is saying that we just can't submit it as an addendum to the project, that they want to study the whole soils report. It doesn't cost that much because we would only pay the HCI fee on the cost of the soils report. It's not, we've already paid HCI the cost for reviewing the plans with the tank and everything, which is, I forget what it was, 500,000. The cost of the water tank and all that we submitted to HCI, I forget what it was, $500,000 or something. So we've already paid the plan review fee for that. The plan review fee for the study of the soils won't be that much money.
Okay.
It's just one of those many hoops that HCI loves to make us jump through.
Okay.
And again, we're in no rush.
Yeah.
You know, that tank has to be in by 2030.
Okay.
So
So next week.
we'll be all over it next week. Yeah. So that's where we're at on that. Skilled nursing building reclassification. And I put a little note in here because we had found the seismic joints on fire sprinklers and electrical.
Yep.
And we just swore up and down that they had to be there for something else. And we had looked on both sides of the wall, could not find them. And so Michael swung by here on one of his trips down south, and he and I crawled up in that attic and with some tools and some lights and laid up there in the attic and cut open a rated access thing that was only about that long. And I'll be doggone, the pipes just came in and just were smoothly insulated and went right through the wall. And I thought, well, it's got to be there. So got a razor knife up in there, and we cut away that insulation and peeled them apart, and I'll be doggone, but there was there was isolation there. So he took pictures of it. So now it's just a simple matter of submitting that everything is kosher to HCI, and they're going to bless reclassifying the building. That was the last thing is we could not seem to find, and it was for domestic water, hot and cold and return hot. and heating water and cooling water. So it was pipes and varying from 1 inch up to 2.5, 3 inch. But it's there.
You found it.
Yeah, we found it. It's not easy. It was, yeah.
Which is kind of ironic.
Now you put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, yeah, it's just one of those things where you would never have expected to find it there because it was such a short little space, but that's all it was needing.
Wow.
And it was smoothly insulated. So it just looked like they had literally hollowed out the inside of the insulation for the expanded portion that expands.
I'll be darned.
So that it was one smooth piece of insulation and it just did not look like it was there.
no. Just-
And of course, we had to cut a hole in a 2-hour rated shaft wall assembly to even get to that.
Right.
And
I just find it ironic because that building was done during the seismic change anyway. I
Yes.
should have already known that it was already seismically compliant when,
I know, but the problem is the plans did not detail or specify that it is such and such a type of fitting, et cetera, in the plan.
well, this is the one that Aspen Street screwed up, right?
Well, the original submittal to HCI on the types of buildings on this site was screwed up by Aspen.
Right.
They submitted the skilled nursing as a type 1 acute care building. And if that were the case, then HCI would say, well, you'd have to seismically upgrade it. But SNFs are not required to be seismically upgraded. And so the whole thing was to try and prove that, no, it really is a type 3 skilled nursing building, wood framed, et cetera. But then, of course, their question was, is it seismically separated? Are all the utilities that feed from one to the other, do they have shutoffs? Do they have expansion capabilities? All the criteria between buildings the way they were. And so it just took us a while to find it.
You found it.
All that matters. So we are home free on that one. It's a matter of getting
That's
it
great.
processed through HCI and changing the classification. And then we don't have to fight with HCI that building needs to be seismically upgraded.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you found that. I read that. I read this,
Yeah.
your report a couple days ago. I thought, oh, that's really good news.
It really is. I was very happy when I found
Yeah.
this, when I cut that open. And then, of course, he's up there with me in the attic. We're all kind of jammed in this little space and he's got his phone out and he's taking pictures of them while I hold the insulation apart. And yeah, he was very happy also. It just, anyway, so enough about that. Nathan's even working again today on more of the corner guards and stuff. I'm hoping this week to tear out that stainless cabinet behind the nursing station and start that upgrade. And that once we get that done and the rest of the corner guards on and stuff, I think we're pretty close to have this punch list
I
done.
think the code base is all done. Is it number 7?
Yeah, code base is all done. This is just a complete list.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Actually, number 1's done. We still have to paint some door frames. He's doing the trim around the murals right now. The floor tiles all got done. Code base is all done. But we have 8 to do and
9.
yeah, 9. I have the piece of metal and we got to put that on. So Nathan will be doing that shortly. And we discussed the shower, doing that at this point. It's just way too much money.
$75,000 or so.
Yeah, because it's a molded, one fiberglass thing shower. But it's really not as big as it could be if we tore out the wall and moved it over, but that would require building a whole bigger shower pan assembly, et cetera. And I figure by the time we drew plans and did all the work, it would be a minimum of $75,000 to give them a little more elbow room to do showers with the residents and shower chairs. And we don't believe it's really money well spent.
Not during this time.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had got increases in all of our reimbursements, maybe so, And so then 11 is what we're getting ready to do. Everything's here, all the cabinets, the refrigerator, the sink, the hands-free faucet. And it's just a matter of, now that we've got other projects done, we're going to jump on that one. And then of course, the other ones. And I threw on there the traveler staff apartments. That's the apartments right down the street here on Park. And they're pretty rough. So I'm gonna go down and draw up the floor plans and do some, we'll do VCT like we did in acute care with the patterns in the living room and the kitchen. We'll probably take off the old ugly tile counters and drop in some newer counters, paint the cabinets in the kitchens, and just spruce them up a bit. New
Doctors,
carpet.
doctors have actually requested in their
Yeah.
apartment. They actually found someone they want to rent way down there. I haven't looked at it yet though, but $1,650 a month. Wow.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we're talking is doing the doctor's one first, and we'll move them into a hotel room for a week or so and go in there and repaint the whole place, recarpet the bedrooms, lay the tile in the living room, kitchen, replace the counters, paint the cabinets, and they'll look a lot nicer. And we lease those, we rent those apartments from the owner very inexpensively, and our contract, any maintenance work is ours to do, because it's that type of contract where it's not because it doesn't cover everything. So it's like if the faucet is leaking, we don't call the owner and he has it repaired. We do it with maintenance.
Said Jim Wiley.
And no, I forget his name off the top of my head. Yeah, Bruce Bowler. Yeah, but yeah, it's anyway. So we're gonna work on those along with all the other projects we have to do.
Okay.
I think that's my report. Unless you have any questions.
Questions or comments for Bob?
Mm.
Thanks, Bob.
We have to talk about this,
Oh, yeah, the security.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, next time, but that's the project.
right?
So what we did, what Monica did is she reapproached the companies to do just the 5 windows across the front and the 1 window on the end, which all the other windows have bars, steel bars on the inside. So there's 3 windows that I put steel bars in that are back in the area where the drugs are. But this is just the windows in the waiting room, the big front glass ones. And so the cost is a good bit less. And I just had wanted to, last meeting you had said, well, let's get the cost to just do the windows there. So we did that. So King Door came in at 24.5. And
Outside the building, not inside.
these will be on the exterior.
Good.
Roll-Lock came in at 18,220, 23. Roller Shield came in at
22,587.
2,587.
Difference, right?
So
And they did it for so cheap, 18. The other guys are so much. Same.
Well, what's interesting is on King Door that for 7 motorized units.
they forgot.
The other ones are for 8. Technically, the 8 and 94, and they add a line item for freight just to have some fun.
Yeah, well, and obviously, if we want to proceed, we'll hone this a little bit so that the language is.
Wow. Roll-Lock was the cheapest anyhow, and they had the freight built into it.
Yeah,
You guys are okay, because before we were gonna do it inside, now we're gonna go outside.
well, originally we proposed outside, and then I think, was it Gene that wanted to move it to the inside?
And we voted on it too. You guys voted on it,
Yeah.
but now we're proposing outside because break the window and still not be able to get in. $2,500 a shot.
They can still break the window, whereas if it's on the exterior of the glass, they can't break the window. The window's only,
Yeah, but then it's so damn ugly.
well, during the day, they'll be rolled up and you won't see them.
Yeah.
And it's only after they close at 6 that they would be rolled down.
How many are there gonna be?
It's 6 windows, I believe.
I was gonna say you could do the 5 different spaces. I'm just like, it's like a mural.
Well, it's not right. I think I haven't had time to go through these.
Okay.
But we would, if we're gonna proceed, we'd make sure they have the numbers right. They might have not changed some things, but like, yeah, so even, roll a shield, they're showing 8 doors and I don't know why, because that
Yeah,
was,
roll lock's the same way.
yeah,
It's still cheaper than this.
right. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
It's, these companies are, and I'm thinking, yeah, I think like, technically 7 would be 1 over. It's making no
Not sure what
sense.
they did there.
Because we have 2 front, originally we were gonna put roll downs over the doors themselves also. So you would have the 5 windows, 2 doors, and 4 windows down the side. So that's 5, 7, 8,
Yes.
9, that'd be 11.
Oh, the doors. So it's 6 windows and 2 doors. So it should be 8.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense,
then
because it's
just,
5 front windows and a side window and both doors.
1 door was motorized and 1 wasn't.
So the idea is that it would roll down even over the door so that they couldn't take a crowbar and pop the door. That's why the number is where it's at. And we could skip the doors. I mean, the doors are still not an easy way to get in. It's not like you can throw a rock through.
You're gonna do it or.
I'm thinking, yeah. And so like seven of them, you would flip a switch and they would just motor down. And then you would go out the door and then you would close that last one and just lock it.
So with the roll-off bid, the least expensive one, is that gonna be? Will that get the job done?
Yes, I looked at all the specifications back when we were first looking at this, and King doors, the metal's a little thicker, they're a little better quality, but they're still all roll down metal, flexible, roll up mechanism. So with a motor and whatnot, and we run the power for it. Switch.
Are these installed or you have to install?
This is installed. Yeah,
Oh, they'll install it?
they put them on the building.
Oh, great.
At least that's what we originally asked for. To tell you the truth, I have been so busy, I haven't studied these, but let's just say on roll lock, down through.
It doesn't.
Doesn't really state. Do you know, Monica?
No, this is with us installing.
Oh, this is us installing. Okay. Because originally I would said, you guys, we'll run the power, but you install them. But so to get the cost down, this would be us installing. And then it's a simple matter of taking and locating.
You just got to
Studies.
study an inch one.
Yeah, and that we were going to do anyway. So it's a simple matter of coming out of one of the panels, running a circuit over the T-bar ceiling, and then just putting in a splitter box to go each, and then punching through right where it feeds into the motor, the exterior of the building. That part of it is easy. Mounting them's a little more of a hassle.
Can we vote on this
Anyway.
today or no?
It's an action item.
An action item?
But we don't have,
We
I
don't
mean,
have
you could table it if you want me to do further work or revise anything, or, I mean, I'm not in a great rush. I mean, knock on wood, nobody's tried to break in
Right,
yet.
we don't want to test it.
Never know that one's in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
What would it cost for them to put it in? How much more do you think?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
Would it make it a prevailing wage job then?
Probably.
So then it would be $150,000. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of 20.
Well, I'd have to research that a little bit, because is it just the installation that has to be, in other words, if the installation is less than 25 grand, because we're just purchasing product, I'd have to get that clarified.
Yeah, you could
But you
buy
guys,
them and then on a separate thing, do
do the installation.
But you guys could install, no problem.
We can install them. It's not rocket science.
All right.
Look at the roll doors.
They're not that,
So do we have enough information here, Bob? Are you comfortable with this? If we approve the Rolock, the purchase of the Rolock ones, would that get done?
Let me just take quick. So front door swinging out, front door swinging in. So there's our two front doors. And 8 is 96 by 92. So that's one of the big windows. The next one is
100 by 92.
100 by 92, then 74 by 92, 71 by 92, and 81 by 92. And then the side window is the 77 by 45 and a half. So it looks like they have it covered. I mean, most of them state they'll come out and take final measurements before they just make them, just to make sure that they're going to fit appropriately. On the furthest west front window, the stonework that's been installed on the building, will have to do a saw cut down there and chip about this much of the stone off in order to have room to put the rail up along that side of the window, because they brought that stone right out to the edge of the glass. But again, that's a saw and a masonry bit. Take a couple hours work. I'm relatively comfortable that this is an appropriate number.
Okay. Then I'll make the motion to approve the bid from Rolock.
motion by
I'll second.
Director Elliott, second by Director Clark, all in favor?
And
That passes.
And obviously we're gonna change, the only thing I can see, we're gonna change the color. We're not gonna do a roll shutter silver.
The color
You want to have a little
It'll be
bling?
nice, it'll be nice and blingy, yeah, shiny there on the front of the building with some silver.
Metallic when they started.
They come in a whole choice of colors, and I will choose something that probably matches the paint, so that when they're shut, it just blends in with the wall.
Okay.
I just noticed that, it's like
Will that
silver.
cost more, you think, though?
We'll double check.
The bulk of these were stating in white. They come in various colors.
They do,
Yes.
every company made them.
I know they probably don't mix various colors, but I'm just thinking. You're
I-
finishing them.
It's all baked enamels that are on
Yeah,
there. So
right.
they're no big deal.
Even the silver one's gonna be a baked enamel finish, yeah.
The advantage is also here, being that they're a baked enamel product, you know, if somebody comes up and graffitis a thing, you lock up with isopropyl alcohol, you hit it, it wipes right away.
Really? That's good.
Yeah, and it won't affect the
It'll
finish
inevitably happen.
because it's a baked on finish.
Good.
Yeah.
But this,
Last item is a invoice from Greenbelt for the amount of $6,328.
Yes, and that is on the project for the, this was an addendum, this was related to the electrical generator project.
It says electrical.
Yes, which is part of our seismic upgrade, but they're unfortunately merged and attached at the hip. But yeah, so this is like one of their very last billings for closing out the project. So Emily Mueller she's the one who does all the submittals to HCI. And so it's and then it's 1 hour's time from Michael to approve stuff. I can't guarantee there won't be one more minor, small little bill, but we're just about there.
I think I listed the wrong amount. It looks like this invoice is for $27.87,
and you guys, yeah,
not 6,000.
Yeah, but it's it's $2,787.
Yes, page 13, it's got.
That was me.
Yeah, which is I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Michael at 175 an hour. Spending 8.5 hours getting a project closed and 15 hours from Emily going back and forth to HCI.
I don't have an issue. 27,850.
2787.
Pay is as presented.
Okay, motion is such.
Motion as such, please.
Director Clark, is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Director Elliott, all in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
So is there a way for us just to put these directly on the board agenda or on finance agenda? So they can be dealt with any sooner? Or is this working for you?
Well, it is. Usually I get them a week or two before the stuff has to go out to you folks. So in other words, we've had this invoice for a week and 2 weeks,
At least 2 weeks, yeah.
about 2 weeks. So it's not like they're sitting for a long period of time.
Your vendors too know that we have like a regular monthly process, and so.
Yeah, there's been a few times when she sent me the invoices from Greenbow and I says, you missed it by 3 days. You're now gonna have to wait another
The
month
next
now.
time, yes,
Yes.
okay.
And they don't have a problem with it, you know.
Okay.
Greenbow's pretty good about being patient on payment.
All right.
Well, and like Bob has stated, though, this report's gonna become very redundant, with not a whole lot of change coming to us.
That's why I was thinking. If we're not going to meet, if there's no reason for us to meet other than
Then
approve
again, push it
invoices,
to finance.
either push them to finance if they need committee work or just put them straight on the board agenda.
Either way works for me. You know, I hate to see everybody have to come here for a meeting when we're gonna spend 5 minutes discussing whether we got some more
Yeah.
painting done in the SNF.
Right.
I just think unless there's something critical that we need to discuss, there's no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we put it on a hiatus a while back.
Yeah.
And didn't have it for a while, and we just took care of the issues that came up at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a what if about what goes on with LOES and all that.
I'm thinking we're months away from any word. I mean, obviously, if we got word next month, oh, hey, by the way, we approved your brick grant.
Yeah.
Well, then we jump right into it, you know, but,
Well, at this point, there's nothing that we have on here that can't carry over to the board meeting.
absolutely
Stop wasting everybody's time.
everybody's time. Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's
So you guys make that call then next month. If there's really
nothing
nothing
to talk about.
Yeah.
crucial or time sensitive.
I suspect too, if we heard something about the grant, if we would just call a special board meeting, we would make
Exactly.
something happen
Yeah,
quickly.
yes,
It should be a
right.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need 24 hours if we do that.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good with that.
That's my recommendation. Yeah.
Or about some more time of your day.
Yeah.
You can have some time back.
Well, that we are adjourned at 1:08.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Yeah,
Not in a hurry.